What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Hope all you had a great day so far today. Hope you all had a great weekend, 4th of July weekend. The fireworks are still popping. Like they still going full blown. 12 o'clock in the morning. People still popping them. But I digress. This episode was a pretty decent episode. Some parts of it got on my fucking nerves, but it was a decent one. You know what Emma said to Gio was so true. I'm glad that Gio is starting to question like that other side of Sunny that people keep talking about. Because Tracy really got him thinking. Like, is there another side to Sunny that he don't know? I'm like, yes, sir. Absolutely. But I'm glad that he got perspective on it from other people, especially Emma. Because Emma was very real with him. Okay? Emma was like, listen, everybody got multiple sides. Everybody got multiple sides to them. That's just what it is. And I totally agree with her. Like, you may think you know somebody, you know the side of them they want you to see. Like, I watch a lot of documentaries and stuff, especially investigation discovery. That's like one of my favorite things to watch is the ID channel. And I watch so much how people who get interviewed say like, oh, this guy was so nice. He barbecued for the whole neighborhood on the 4th of July. He did this, he did that. He carried groceries for the elderly neighbors. And come to find out, that same dude or that same lady who was very nice, very sweet, was a serial killer. Like you don't really know people. Everybody they show you the signs that the sides to them that they want you to see. You don't know the real. You know what I'm saying? Until you get a glimpse of it for yourself. Like, you got some people that could tell you about this person, that person, you wouldn't know until you see it for yourself, or you wouldn't believe it, until you see it for yourself. So it's very real. Everybody got those sides to them. The good, the bad, the ugly. Everybody got it. So I'm glad that he got some clarity on it from Emma, and especially from Carly. Like, when he went to go talk to Carly, because Emma was like, listen, go talk to somebody that know him. And Carly was there. She, obviously is not going to tell him in full-blown detail about Sonny's other side, like his other personalities, but Sonny can be temperamental. He could be volatile, he could be dangerous, he could be a lot of things. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that she kept it real for as real as she could, get, because, like, again, she's not going to tell him all the gory details, which I didn't expect her to. She was as honest as she could, because Michael and Dante, Christina, they've all wrestled with themselves about who Sonny is. They all had to do that. You know what I mean? They all had to reconcile themselves with who their dad is. The good, the bad, they had to, navigate that over the years and figure out, like, can they have him in their life? Can they deal with it? Some days is good days, some days are not. So I'm glad that, Gio spoke to her about it, and I feel like he should definitely at some point go sit down with Dante. I know he's not feeling Dante right now, but maybe he could go sit down with Dante and talk, or at the very least go talk to Christina, or go talk to Michael, and they can fill him in on some of the things, that they've dealt with being a child of Sonny, or being a relative of Sonny, you know what I mean? Without giving him the gory details, because I feel like that's not totally necessary to, go into detail about Sonny's life. But, Carly, like I said, she was real. She was like, listen, that man made choices that he ain't proud of, but he did what he had to do. He ain't perfect. He got a lot of issues with him, but, he got that good side to him, and that's what Sonny shows people. He showed that good side until you see the bad. Because everybody has a warped perspective of Sonny. Christina had that for a long time too, until she saw that side for herself. Michael had that thought about him too, until he saw that side for himself. Like, you have to see it to believe it. So hopefully Gio can reconcile himself with it and figure out what he want to do, as far as, like, can he, what he can handle being around and what he can't. So anyway, moving on from that, I really wish Emma would just pop Jocelyn in her forehead. Like, I don't like that Jocelyn and Vaughn are trying to, keep Emma at bay. Like, they trying to play her, just to keep her out of Jocelyn's way with Professor Dalton. I don't like that. I don't like that she being played. He trying to get close to her for a number of reasons. But the main reasons are her and Gio seem to be having something going on. It's not, I don't think it's exclusive, but even still, I don't want Vaughn to come up in there trying to mess it up, what she got going, because she really do like Gio, and I don't want that to, fuck that up. But also, I don't like to see Emma get played. I want to see her get the upper hand on this one. I want to see her bust them out, and figure out their game. Because, like I said, she is a combination of Robin and Anna and Robert. She's smarter than than the average bear. So I want to see her get the upper hand on this one. But I will give kudos to Jocelyn for playing it how she played it, though, because that actually was smart. She used what Emma doesn't like about her to her advantage to get Vaughn in with Emma. Because Vaughn didn't have an in. He was like, yeah, I could use, her whole animal rights thing to get close to her. But he said, I need another strong foundation, though, to really get in there. She was like, okay, cool. Well, she don't like me. She think I'm privileged, think I'm a spoiled brat. So Jocelyn used it. Got into an argument with Vaughn in front of Emma and called him a janitor and all that type of stuff. And Emma, she soaked it up. She was like, yep, now you saw the real Jocelyn. And boom, he's in now. Worked like a charm. So I got to give kudos. It worked. I didn't like that it worked because I like Emma, but it worked. Got to give credit where credit is due. Like, she played it smart on that one. They handled that. But anyway, moving on from that. Marco. He's starting to annoy me now. Because he got the truth about the autopsy. Anna told him what the autopsy said. Obviously, what happened to his mother was an accidental overdose. It was not murder. She mixed pills with alcohol. It was a lethal combination. It was an accident. Your mother did it to herself. There was no foul play. Even when they went into the room long before they even did a autopsy. Long before they did an autopsy, they looked in that room and they could not see any foul play. And usually a cop notices foul play as soon as you walk in the damn room. They didn't see any. There was no signs of it. So now you got confirmation she was not murdered. And yet here he is, pissed off that Sonny went free. Boy, your mother was not killed. You got confirmation of that. Why are you still blaming Sonny and being pissed off about it? And of course, he gonna let his little shine head father play him out. Because now, here goes Sidwell. Oh, well, he ain't gonna get away with it. Or we not gonna let that slide or whatever. Sidwell is just gonna manipulate the hell out of Marco. Now more than ever, especially with Natalia being dead. Oh, he got his hooks into Marco even more now. Because that's what Natalia was fearful of. She didn't want Marco to go down his father's, path. Walking into his footsteps. That's not what Natalia wanted. But that's exactly what Sidwell's going to do. He going to manipulate the hell out of his son for his own agenda and taking Sonny down. And Marco going to be dumb enough to fall for it. I was surprised. Well, I ain't going to say surprised, but Anna being a police commissioner, she sure do be in the field, don't she? Like, with all these detectives she got, she be in the field handling shit herself. Like, she went to Sidwell's to ask about his whereabouts and stuff the night that, Natalia died or whatever. And I'm like, so why didn't you just send Detective Bennett or somebody there? Like, I want to see more Detective Bennett. I like his character. Having a black detective up here, I like it. Like, come on now. Showcase him more. I can understand why, like, Dante or Chase is not, technically asking these questions or whatever. But I would put Detective Bennett on. And, of course, Sidwell had an alibi. Not surprising. So, anyway, Ezra. He get on my nerves. Like, this man is so desperate to be the new mayor. And he's running on a platform of, the mayor is friends with Sonny Corinthos, the town mob boss. Like, dog, you really think that's going to get you voted in? Like, this fool really went into the interrogation room with his cell phone, recording them hugging. He all like, I'm like, fool, if you don't put that phone down. And Laura was like, I could have your ass locked up, right? Because you can't record in an interrogation room. That's illegal. And you are a Congress. What is he, a councilman? And you don't know that? That you can get locked up for doing that? Little fool. I was like, if you don't put that damn phone down. Um, he is just so desperate for a victory at this point. It's sad because for one, everybody in that town, anybody who's lived in that town forever knows that Laura and Sonny are connected. They go way back. She never hid that. Even when she became mayor, she never hid that. They have family. Their families have been connected for decades. They share a grandchild together. Like, that's all public knowledge. So snapping a video of them hugging and being friendly, that's not shocking. That wouldn't shock the public. If I lived in Port Charles, that shit wouldn't surprise me. I'm like, they are connected, so that's not a shock. But as I don't see people voting Laura out as mayor because there's no record of her doing anything corrupt while she's been in office. So I don't see her losing. Unless he can get some real dirt of corruption on her that prove that she bent the law for Sonny or, something like that, then you might have an in. But if you can't prove that, then shut the fuck up. Hey, go sit down somewhere. But even Sonny trying to tell Laura to distance herself from him, and Laura said no, ain't no point. And I agree with her on that. Like, I get it. Normally, if it was somebody else, I'd be like, yeah, you might want to distance yourself. But like I said, they're connected, so there's really no point. And of course, Ezra was pissed when he found out that Sonny was going to walk again. I'm like, dog, did you not hear the report? There was no foul play. Of course he's going to walk. He didn't kill that girl. It's not talking about, oh, he could have manipulated the overdose. Ezra, go somewhere and go touch grass. That man ain't manipulating no damn overdose. He did not. Like, you just coming up with any little mess. That's all it is. Ezra, he's salty because he wants Sonny in prison so bad. I'm like, dog, go sit down somewhere. So anyway, moving on from that, I'm glad that Sasha's starting to see that co-parenting with Michael could actually work, because I'm all for her wanting to be independent or whatever, but why would you push somebody away from being a part of their child's life that actually wants to be in their child's life? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, you got people out here who really don't want to be in their kid's life. You know what I'm saying? Here you got a guy that wants to be a father, and you're like, nah, I want to do this by myself. Nah, I want to. Like, most, what I mean? People out here will welcome having somebody share the load of being a co-parent, so they don't have to do everything themselves. Like, a lot of people would embrace that, especially when they have that. You know what I'm saying? You just pushing it away. So I'm glad that she finally coming around and has some good sense. Like, her and Michael definitely should co-parent. Like, that's the way it should be. Now the child, done got kidnapped. And I wouldn't put it past Delusional Willow to be the one to do that. But I do feel like they need security on that property. Like, where's their security? Their, cameras and all that type of stuff. Like, it got to be somebody familiar with the property. Because how could somebody possibly get in and out of that property without being noticed? You know what I mean? Like, come on. And I do remember, even from the Jagger Cates investigation, they have cameras at the gate. So how else is this person getting in onto the property without being seen? Like, are you jumping a fence, a wall? Like, how are you getting in? Like, is there a secret door? Like, how the hell do you just get on the property undetected? A big ass estate like that? Yeah, that would worry me. Because you spend all that money for that big old house and the upkeep, and y'all don't have better security. Yeah, nah. I would upgrade the hell out of that security. It'd be like Fort Knox to get up in that bitch. I'm just saying. Locks everywhere. It'd be so many locks on that door, you would have thought you was in Cabrini Green. You'd have thought you lived in the projects with all them locks I have on that door. Just every time you want to get in and get out, you gonna have to open that door that way. Chain, double bolt, everything. That bitch would be locked up. I'm telling you. Locked up tighter than an inmate in cell block C. I'm just saying. But before the little girl got kidnapped, everybody was just sitting there commiserating about 4th of July last year, because it's coming up on a year where things were different. BOQ was talking about what the hell was BOQ talking about? Something about what happened a year ago, and what's his face? Cody was talking about how it's been a year since he told Mac he was his son, and Michael said a year ago, around this time a year ago, his marriage started to disintegrate. Michael, you should be jumping for joy that your marriage disintegrated. You got away from a wacko. Be happy. I don't know what it is about Michael, but he just attract crazy. Some of the women he dated, just a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I'm like, yeah, you might want to, get your next lady evaluated. Like, you might want to, you know what I'm saying? See if she got any history of mental illness. Like, you might want to do that. I'm just saying. Cody and BLQ going back and forth or whatever about this little secret and him being mad at her for keeping that secret, having him keep that secret. Sir, you're a grown man. Nobody forced you to keep that damn secret. And I'm glad he owned up to the fact that he assumed she got rid of the pregnancy without actually confirming it. I'm like, yeah, that was on you. You assumed she got rid of it. She never told you she did. So that was just, an assumption on your dumb ass. Next time, don't assume things. Make an ass out of yourself. So anyway, moving on from that. Rocco. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I wanted Dante to just knock his head. I really did. Like, I get where he coming from. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a teen. He's trying to process this information. But he was pissing me off. Rocco was getting on my nerves. I'm going to tell you why. Because they sat here and explained the situation to him about what happened back then. And they told him nothing's changed. And he said, oh, it changes everything. Oh, it changes everything. Boy, what does it change? Lulu and Dante are your biological parents. That does not change. How the hell did this boy come to the conclusion, after hearing their explanation, he comes to the conclusion that they didn't want him, that they got stuck with him? Like, boy, where did you come up with that nonsense from? Based off of what they said, where did you come up with that? I just felt like he started hearing what he wanted to hear at that point, because I'm like, because they took a temporary break on the embryo process about having a baby at that point. Yeah, they explained that to you. They went through a lot of stuff. It was complicated at that time. With Maxie supposed to be their surrogate, and then she had a miscarriage, got pregnant again, and at that point she got pregnant with her actual, she got pregnant with her actual child. Everything was complicated back then. So I'm like, how did you come up with that conclusion they don't want you? I'm like, boy, don't get your head knocked up. Because I want to knock his head through the wall when he said that foolery. Nothing changes. And then he tried to sit there and say, oh, y'all did the same thing BLQ did. It's the same thing she did to Gio. How? No, it's not. That is not the same thing. First of all, Britt stole the embryo. They told him this. She stole it. They had no idea. Britt only raised Rocco for what, 6-7 months? She only had the boy for a few months. And as soon as they found out, they took him from her and they raised him. So how is it the same thing? And not only that, they had every intention of telling him about this. They had no intention of lying to him about it. They never, planned on not telling him. So it's not really the same thing. It's really not. I was like, boy, just go to your room and go to bed somewhere, because he was giving me a migraine. I'm like, you're not comprehending what they telling you. And I'm not surprised that Lulu went right on over to BLQ once he found out how Rocco got that information. And BLQ tried to say, oh, well, when she was talking to Michael, she tried to say, I couldn't stoop down to Lulu's level or whatever. I couldn't hurt her child. If you didn't want to hurt Rocco, one, you should have never got that information to begin with. Two, once you did get that information, if you didn't want to hurt him, you should have just put it in the fireplace or something. You know what I'm saying? Or tore it up, shredded, whatever. You should have got rid of it. Why would you just leave it with a stack of your paperwork on the desk where anybody who lives in that mansion could have stumbled upon it, which they did? You should have got rid of it if you didn't want him hurt. You knew anybody in there could have just looked through that paperwork and found that stuff. Like, come on. It's not rocket science. Like, BLQ knows she was wrong for that. And that's the thing. I'm not surprised Lulu came over there and slapped her. But it does make Lulu a hypocrite, because BLQ was wrong for trying to, use Rocco to hurt her. But Lulu needs to own the fact that her trying to, tell Dante the truth about Gio being his son, she did that to hurt BLQ too. She could lie all she wants and say, no, Dante deserved to know truth. Bullshit. That wasn't her only motivation for telling him. She was angry with BLQ. She wanted to hurt her. Come on now. We not stupid. We're not stupid. By far. We know the real. But anyway, that's pretty much the whole episode. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you all thought. And I will see you all later. Peace.